Hello everyone. Something a little bit different. We're going to do a sort of long form chat. I am joined by Joe, the alternative gamer.
Hello.
Yeah, that's him, see? He talks and stuff. He makes noises from his mouth.
I do. It's very, very fantastic.
Yeah, very sexy. It's not quite Phil Spencer, but you know.
No, I can't match that.
Not on that level at all.
No, not at all.
But anyway, we're not going to, well, we might talk about Phil Spencer, but what we're going to talk about primarily is, where in my opinion, the sham of a game called God of War.
It's not so shabby.
Well, we'll let people decide. We're gonna both lay out what we think. Well, not so much. Joe's gonna like to say what he likes, and I'm just gonna completely complain about everything. But I think I've got a point. So anyway,
I think you do.
Yeah. So it's the second year we've seen it at E3, and to
it's
be honest,
still not out.
Yeah, obviously, typical. But it's they've shown a bit more of the game, and I am just not impressed in the slightest. I mean,
What don't you like?
It looks pretty. I'll give it that.
Yeah, it looks like a movie.
Yeah.
Something like The Order. Remember how that looks so gorgeous?
Yeah. No, that's I can't knock the graphics at all, but.
And the best mustaches in gaming.
Apparently,
nostril freezing.
Yeah, apparently his beard's fully rendered as well, which is fucking crazy.
Really?
Like, why?
That took him like a whole extra year. That's why it needed to get delayed.
Yeah,
they really had to get the beard down.
Do you know what I mean? And this is the thing, you've got these consoles that can't reach fucking 1080p and 60 frames a second, and you're rendering beards. Like, come on.
Sometimes they can't reach 30. Yeah, the beard causes the game to lag. It kind of just drifts there, like Game & Watch.
Oh, man. But yeah, so, Joe, what do you first find good about this piece of shit?
Well, I like God of War as a series, and I think what makes this what I like is it's a bit different. I don't know if it'll pan out, but it's neat that they're going from it looks like a very character-driven story. You know, something that we're going to really have like an intimate tale with Kratos and his son, and they're going to go through a bunch of trials or whatever, anything like that. But I think over that they'll have like good bonding moments, and it does have a Last of Us and like a recently released a Logan vibe to it. Like instantly when I see any of the trailers, any of the footage, that screams out to me.
Right, nah. All I gotta say about this is this game has got a case of what I call Me Too's. So it's like you've got a popular game, right?
Yep.
Game does fine. Like this game, it sells enough to get how many fucking sequels is there? You got God of War 1, 2, 3, Ascension, and then the 2 PSP ones, right?
Yeah, they have so many sequels. They don't have enough numbers to keep up with God of War.
Yeah, so but I can get that you want to have a little change and whatever, but to completely change what the game was, completely. Do you know what I mean? It's not even just this hasn't done like a Resident Evil 4 and just changed the camera angle, because if you think about it, Resident Evil 4, the controls was the same and everything, but they just changed the camera angle.
The controls still were like the tank stuff, and then they just changed it from that fixed perspective to we'll just hug Leon's back the whole time. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
But do you know what I mean? It didn't.
But it was still Resident Evil.
Yeah, it didn't change what game it was. Whereas this, it's gone from being able to do stuff like 70 hit combo, fucking nutty moves with these blades that are attached to extending chains and just absolute nut. All he does is he's angry. He's just pissed off constantly and just wants to kill things. I'm sure there's a quote in it where he says, "I will kill everything."
Yeah, I think he needs like a Snickers. That commercial came out. He was acting like Betty White. Kratos definitely needs a Snickers. I get what I want to throw one thing out there with you saying that it is a change, because I do agree it is different. The thing that I will say that I think will work with it is if God of War 4 kind of takes all the story stuff that happened before with Kratos and works that into his character in this game, so it means something. All his past stuff, those kind of stories and his actions kind of come through in God of War 4, or we see that he's grown a bit or perhaps hasn't changed because of that history. I can see then, okay, keep it in the God of War franchise and you're doing something different. It's a bit of a departure, but it still makes sense to keep it in there because you're doing something with that character. If they don't really do anything with that, I feel like Sony should have just created a Viking series. Like
this is my point. This is what I mean, because that's what it seems like.
That's my thing. We don't know yet because it's not out. Like if we go through God of War and it's like they don't make any mention to what he did before, and it's just now, and there's nothing that because of what he did, there's now he acts differently, he's grown, etc. Then I'm like, then there's no point if they don't mention any of that stuff. If they do mention it, then I feel like there's a decent argument there saying, okay, yeah, it is different, but it's still the same character. If that makes any sense.
But then I've got a problem still right there, even before this even gets started, because it's because the original games was Greek mythology, and now it's moved on to Norse mythology. But
because
so
they
what?
killed all the Greeks.
Yeah,
they don't have another game. You got to pick another.
So what does that mean? Is there infinite gods? Is like the next God of War going to be him fighting Jesus?
I don't think so.
Do you know what I mean? He gets to one and starts fighting Allah and all that. Do you know what I mean? What? Like,
I'm just picturing Jesus from the Stick of Truth coming in and fighting him. Then that's the only thing I think of when you say that. What is neat is because you just said that right there. Because now they're switching mythology, which really does give another argument to you should have just made another franchise because it's not Greek mythology anymore.
Exactly.
But I will say this, because it would be neat if they kind of explore it. Is maybe there's like different realms, so you got like your Norse realm and you have your Greek realm kind of a thing. I don't know how that works.
So what, you're going to call countries realms? Because I swear he's just gone to Scandinavia.
With a talking snake. So he's gone to...
But then as well...
Snake off Harry Potter.
But then this is just the biggest thing behind it. Even if you just look at the way that the developers are talking about it, David Jaffe, or Jaffe, however you say it, the way he described this game when it first come out is, this game will get you pussy.
Oh, I remember that.
And now they're talking about, the script, this, the feels, he's got a fucking kid. What's the kid all about?
Because
he's got like a wife.
That they're talking about the script, because do you remember what they were talking about when The Order came out? And I like The Order, but when they were talking about The Order, they always talked about that they were going for that kind of film, movie script, that style.
Yeah, and it made sense
like
for the game.
Exact same thing. Yeah, but that seems like the exact same thing that they're really focusing on with God of War. It doesn't seem as automatic as much as because I do see some of the parallels with Rise, but Rise was very automatic, and then you pretty much hit an enemy a couple times and then you do like a cool kill animation with hitting a button.
Yeah, see, that's another thing that gets me. Like Rise.
This new one doesn't seem to have that quick time heavy. And it's funny because I say that, I don't know. Is it really taking from Rise? Because God of War had a lot of quick time events.
Yeah, I think they've took the quick time events out of it, to be fair.
I'd be fine with that. My thumbs got tired on some of those fights. Like the ones where you kind of had to do the crescent moon strikes on your thumbstick. I'd always screw them up.
See, but this is the thing. I'm all for improving a game. Do you know what I mean? There was a lot of things that you could have done better with the God of War game. But It don't mean throw it away and like just completely 100% change it. Do you know what I mean? Like I've got like Devil May Cry, for example. They did the DMC thing, like who is it? Ninja Theory that made it.
Oh, I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it as well. A lot of people didn't, but what the complaint was
great.
The complaint was they didn't like the character, the way that they treated Dante. That was the main problem. You never hear them moaning that the gameplay was the problem. Do you know what I mean? Because it still kept the core identity of the game in it. Even though the controls was different, the way you did things, it still had Devil May Cry's identity.
Like Devil May Cry.
Yeah. In the same way that Resident Evil 4 still felt like Resident Evil. This just looks like it's another game, but it's like, you know what? Let's stick Kratos in it. Let's just make him the main character. But the thing is, like, how good would it have looked on Sony if this was a brand new IP? They just come out of this thing, like they're like, oh, it's in the vein of God of War, but we're going for Norse mythology and we're going to introduce you to this new character. Or even if they called it God of War, like starting again sort of thing, God of War, but Norse God of War. So it's not Kratos, it's somebody else.
Yeah,
like, from Norse mythology, and started it again.
I think that people would have liked it. Like, I think people would have gravitated to it, and I think you would have had a lot less...
It'd be a lot less divisive.
Polarization. Yeah, you'd have a lot less of that, because, well, it's new, so no one has any, like, preconceived notions or nostalgic love for that franchise. And then with the new one, it's a brand new thing, and naturally... I mean, that's the one thing at least I see online all the time is people are like, make new games, make new movies, make new games. Don't just rehash. Don't do that kind of stuff. Give us something different. And I think that people would really like that. I mean, I think people would still kind of draw the comparisons and be like, okay, it's taking a bit more of a serious tone. It's got that kind of like a little bit of like a Last of Us kind of tone. But I don't think anyone would have been like, oh, that's terrible. Because you can. I mean, if you take it, what we've seen so far does look good. It's just, will it fit within the God of War franchise?
See, because this is the thing I keep saying. It doesn't look like a bad game. It looks like a good game, but it doesn't look like a good God of War game. And that's what my main thing is with it. Do you know what I mean?
My only concern with how they're doing it is the same concern with the Order. Now, like, I'm just thinking of this now, is because I really enjoyed the Order. But I felt like they made these gorgeous levels, this gorgeous engine, and the shooting was fun and the story was good, but it was only like 5-6 hours long and they didn't have any other substantial content to it. So it's a hard ask, especially when you have a lot of competition now. Like, it's different if you just release a console. You have the Order, you have a Call of Duty, and you have a Battlefield. Well, all right, all 3 games will be bought at some point. But now we have so much competition, so it's like you need to, put something else in there. So is God of War going to have, co-op like they added in Ascension? Is it going to have multiplayer? I don't know. Is it going to have some type of challenge mode to kind of,
I don't think any of that will fit in the new style though, because in the original series of God of War, you could easily just stick a horde mode on it, because the idea of the game is to get them combos and get good with the weapons, and like you had the bear hand things where it made your hands turn to like them big bear faces, and you just quickly on the fly switching weapons. Now, like, you don't even have interesting weapons. Oh, I've got an axe that if I throw it, it comes back to me.
Hey, that's kind of neat. I wish I had.
That's just it, but it's dumb. Do you know what I mean? I think that's just stupid. Oh, I've got a magic axe. Give me the Blades of Chaos.
Maybe you get that. What if I throw that at you? All right, let me say this. I'm going to play a little bit of devil's advocate. I know I do this a lot when we're talking, but what if the whole game isn't what they're showing? What if they're being really particular in terms of what they're trying to show us, so that when we play it, there's a lot of surprises there?
But I think that's dumb, because it makes me not want to buy it in the first place.
All right, that's a fair point. But what if you get the blades halfway through the game? wouldn't you get giddy at that point when you get them?
See, I don't know, because the new style that they're making it in don't seem to... Like, that's obviously why they've got rid of these Blades of Chaos, because if you have it as a behind the back way that they've done it now, it's not really feasible to use them weapons. It has to be the sort of top-down view for you to be able to use it, or the side-on camera. But with a behind-the-back view, it's going to be kind of like, it'll be more like shooting. You would have to do like an over-the-shoulder sort of shooting mechanic for it to work.
What if they change the camera perspective on you like that? I don't know.
But if they change the camera perspective, it might as well just be a normal God of War. They might as well have not changed anything. See, that's what my point is. It's like, I'm all for change and I'm all for things being improved, but when you just 100% change the game, but then that's what I mean, it just feels like they've shoehorned Kratos into this game for no reason. Just to sell it. Just to sort of be like, oh look, they ain't even got a subtitle for the game. It's just called God of War. It's like, oh, alright. I bet that took you ages to think of. Must have had a team on that.
There is one thing, and you're going to be like, well, that's just like Last of Us, and I can get that. But there is one thing that I do like, that as far as we know, it's going to be Kratos and his kid.
Oh, fuck the kid, man.
But hold on. There's one thing that's neat, I think, by having a child, like, as a character in the game like that, is that when you have a child there, when they experience something, say they get to experience something for the first time, like, it's a moment where the story can kind of take a breath and let you appreciate something that you see every day, but kind of get to see the beauty in it. And like, as a good example, it's kind of when they run into the giraffe in Last of Us. It's a small scene, but it's a memorable one.
No, it's a beautiful scene.
One that's like, yeah, it's a positive scene in a very bleak game. And God of War is definitely going for a similar bleak tone. But by having the child there, what's nice is when you have those nice moments or whatever, you get to kind of see them like in their purest form because the kid is there seeing it. But then at the same time,
we don't want really nice harsh. In God of War. We want Kratos ripping heads off like he does in the beginning of 3 with his bare hands while he's still talking, and then using it as a weapon.
But with the harsh moments, a kid experiencing something like that, like you kind of get to see it to its rawest form, if that makes any sense. So like when Ellie, then I know I'm using The Last of Us, but it's just the examples coming to my head.
Yeah, because it's just like it. It's copying The Last of Us. That's why you keep thinking of it.
Hey, if I get to, there better be cans of beans in that game that I have to collect then.
And nails, and just put them together.
Yeah,
and
just make little pipe bombs.
we got a God of War bean can bomb.
I can definitely see you, like, I can see the game's going to need to make a strong argument for you as to why it's in the God of War franchise.
Yeah, no, it's got to prove itself, because the thing is, the combat doesn't look fun. It looks quite clunky and slow. Do you know what I mean? Whereas the other ones was completely fast-paced, balls to the wall, just anarchy.
Yeah, it was. It was not. It was as if he was like an animal, like a wild animal.
Yeah, and he was. That was his attitude. Just dripped like anger and like, I don't care. I'm gonna kill everything in the most violent. See, this is what my thing is. If they was to show that trailer with the deer, the first thing I thought is he going to rip the deer's head off and use it as a weapon? But then he's like sitting there like, oh, you've got to respect the deer. You know how
ridiculous that would be?
But that's what what's happened in the other ones. Do you know what I mean? Like, that would have been so cool. Do you know what I mean? Imagine if they had a system where, like, yeah, they're going to set it out in nature now, but anything that you can sort of get your hands on, you could use as a weapon.
Uh-huh.
Imagine if they did it like, do you know what I mean? That would be a a welcome change to me. So, do you know what I mean? So imagine you could just like rip someone's arm off, then bang, you can use that as a weapon now.
I could see every game franchise being like, we have to incorporate deer heads as one of our weapons in our games now.
Yeah, it'll be the new bow and arrow.
Deer heads. Yeah, the new bow and arrow. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because one game does something well and every other game has to copy it. Do you know what I mean? Like you've got that now with the slow motion jumping bow and arrow shots. Everyone's doing that. But I mean, it's a welcome thing. Do you know what I mean? Like Assassin's Creed's gonna do that now, the new one. Zelda done it, Horizon done it.
With the combat, with the change that you're talking about, like the clunkiness. Just before I forget, I think, and I could be completely wrong, but so you know how in the original, so in all the God of Wars before this new one coming out, he was like an animal. It was frenetic. It was visceral how he was fighting, and I feel like
it was good.
Well, yeah, the action was reflected of his of how he was feeling. You see what I'm saying? Like how he was at that moment. So he was consumed by revenge, all this stuff. So this new one now, I mean, you can even see it in the camera perspective, how they changed it. And that's part of why I think it's going to be more of a character-driven story, because the camera's closer to him now.
Yeah, we're going to have loads. We're going to have loads of segments of just
of
walking forward. Whilst
yeah. Oh, you don't like those
happens.
walking? Yeah, you get your cardio in God of War now. That's how they should bill it.
And like unmovable camera moments where it's just like you're looking at this. I don't care where you want to look.
And yeah, I wish every game did do that.
See, I don't know. See, I think like Uncharted is brilliant because it's that way. But to make other games like that, I mean, if you got games similar, like Tomb Raider, I thought was a perfect fit for that style.
Yeah, but it was darker. Like that's the thing. Like it's a different. So it's still treasure hunting because I love the two recent Tomb Raider games.
Yeah, they're brilliant.
Uncharted is more. You're not going to find better chemistry in a video game than in Uncharted, just with those characters. And then Tomb Raider is more like it's all about Lara, and then everyone else around her that she meets. But the focal point is always on her, and it's way darker than Uncharted. And I like that we get the two different kind of treasure hunting games. Like Tomb Raider, there's some things that they take from Uncharted, but then like in how it's done, the tone and everything, it's completely different than Uncharted.
Yeah, the fact that the whole it's like open world as well is completely different from Uncharted because Uncharted ain't like that.
Yeah, exactly.
But you see what I mean? Like these are the things like these are the things that stick and what suit. And this is what the biggest problem for me is with God of War, because it's completely changed everything. Like it's gone from one style to this style, which is because this is like the problem for me. It's because it's not that I don't like the style. It's not that I don't like the way the game looks or anything like that, but it's just not what the series, in my opinion, should be. It's such a dramatic change. It's sort of alienating me away from playing it because it's like, yeah, it looks like a cool game, but I'm just going to sit there thinking, I wish I could do this, what you could do in the last game.